Someone asked me if I could do a tutorial video on this image here. I'm going to make it pretty quick and just give you an idea of what I've done to get to this look. I'll show you the before and after. Let's just move this across here, close that over, and holding the option key, click on the little eye there, and you can see that's the before shot and that's after. So you can see we've got rid of that background or the clutter of those planes and just put a new mountain range in and a different sky. So that's pretty cool what you can do in Photoshop. So it wasn't a difficult process. The hardest thing about this image was actually masking it all out, getting this plane all cut out, and that took the longest. So most of what I've done was pretty much using the quick selection tool, going around. You can see just going around, picking up a lot of those areas. Obviously wherever it's I've took up, this is a low res version. Unfortunately, I got the high res. I did some on my other computer. Holding down the option key, you can go back and sort of draw back the other way and just eliminate those areas that you don't want picked up. And I basically went around the whole thing. I made this. I sort of clicked through here where I could pick that up. Now, that's not difficult. You can all sort of do that. The other thing I did is I used the lasso tool, so I hit L on the keyboard and freehand lasso, and I started doing adding bits that way on any curves. If I wanted to get a curve that was difficult to pick up, I used that tool as well. Now when it came to getting these wires, I went down to the quick mask mode here and used the brush tool, B for brush, and X on the keyboard to change it to white. And then I zoomed right in. See, let's go in. That's zooming out. And I found where I wanted to start. So if I click once there, hold down the Shift key, go up to the end of that line up here somewhere, and click there. And you can see now that's revealing that section. And if I go out of quick mask mode down here now, you can see that's picked up. So that's how you get those lines, those really fine details. So I won't go into too much of that because it could take forever if I was to sit here and do it in front of you. I'll just deselect that, Command D. If you go up, if I go to my channels, you should see there's my plane cut out there. There it is. So pretty reasonable job. Not the best job in the world. I will have to clean up some of the edges, smooth things out a little bit. Let's go back. So once back here, once I've created that cutout, I apply it up here. That's it there. I just go Command J on the keyboard, and that cuts it out and puts it up on its own layer. You can see if I turn this one off, you can see what I've done. I've kept the foreground, and I've just run a sort of a rough line along there, and that's going to get blended in anyway. So all that's been kept. This area here of the sky is being, of the foreground has been kept as well. So if I click this back on, what I've done then is I've found another image. So if I just move this out of the way, you see here, there's my two other images I used. So this one here, it had a whole area of foreground, horizon that I could use to strip in. There was a plane here, so I've just done a really quick, you can see the tail wheel. I've just done a quick edit on that, just a content aware fill on that. So basically I've just gone in with a lasso and and just drawn around the plane. So that was the plane. Hit delete on the keyboard and then return, and that's filled it with content aware. So that's all I've done there. So that image then gets dragged and dropped on top of this image here, which is this. That's the result. If I take that off, you can see there it is there. Take that off. It's gone on top. The next thing is I put the sky in as well. There's our plane. So that's how it's sort of been dropped in. I'll just go through some more specifics. With the foreground, obviously the sky wasn't put on there first. You can see here, if I hold down the Shift key, I've rubbed a few bits back. So I'll put this layer on top, take that off, and I've just rubbed it here's where I rubbed it. If I option click, you can see just rubbed out some of the areas, and that's given us a pretty much I matched up the horizon. Obviously, because the plane was cut out up here, I could move this around. So if I actually click on that, you should be able to see, there we go, that moving around. That's the other image on top. You see where I've rubbed it out. Okay, so that was I thought was the easiest way to eliminate those planes in the background. The horizon is relatively close. I mean, you're not really going to worry too much, because then I put the sky on here. You can see with a bit of rubbing and going on. Option click on that. You can see where I've rubbed out the image on top. If I hold in the shift key, you can see I've put the horizon, this horizon of this shot, over the horizon of this shot of the foreground, just so that it looked like it matched a little bit better. And obviously I didn't want a lake in the background, although I could have had a lake. I prefer not to. It's an aerodrome, and you know that's pretty much it. I've just gone with a brush and just rubbed the edge back, so it's not super accurate, but it's in the background. It's going to be quite dark, so it's not really that important. So after I've done that, I've done a stamp visible, so Command Option Shift E, and then I've done an Apply Image command. So I've got an image, Apply Image, and I've changed the channel from RGB to red to give us that grungy look, and I've clicked on Mask, and then I've changed the channel here to red, and then click the invert button. Oopsie, that's looking a bit dodgy. Oh, it's because of this. This should be on that one there, Aeroplane Edit. It should be the same as the source up here. Okay, so you can see now I've got a kind of a grungy look on that plane. I'll just cancel that because I've done that already up here. It's added that grungy look with the Apply Image filter. The next thing I've gone and used the channel mixer to desaturate the image. So I like to do that if I'm going to take any saturation out of an image. I'll go up to the channel mixer, and I might just use the black and white with the red filter, and it gives us black and white, and then I just drop the opacity back of that layer until I get to the point where I want. I'm looking more at the foreground more than anything. So look, I've got around 30 to 40% mark, and that's what I've done there. That's giving this layer here, it's giving us a bit of a desaturated look. Move that out of the way. The next thing, I've used the color lookup table. It's just a little icon here, and my favorite one is the futuristic bleak, and that gives us a kind of a really cool contemporary look, but it's obviously too much, so I take that back to 0 with the opacity on that layer, and then just pull it up till I get to a point where I'm happy with the look it's given me. So I've done that already. Delete that. That's that one there. It's just giving it a little bit more desaturation. After that, I've gone and added a hue saturation to it. I wanted to increase the saturation of the plane again. So I've done a hue saturation, clicked on this little hand here, selected part of the plane, and which will select the reds, and it basically just picks up those reds there, and I made the plane nice and glossy. So I'll take that off. There's our saturation there. Then after that, I've done an auto curve. So I've gone into a curve adjustment layer here. Hold down the Option or the Alt key if you're on a PC, and click on Auto. I've flicked through all these different settings, and I add that and just click through again. But the one that I liked the most was this one here, so click OK. And that's just gives it a bit of a lift. You can see there, it cleans up the color. It makes it a bit cooler, which is what I like, and just lightens things up a little bit as well. So I'll get rid of that. So that's all that was. And the next thing, I've just done a stamped visible one, Option Shift E, and this will be for cleaning up any edges, because there was a few edges here along the wing where you can see it's a bit dodgy. With my mask, I was a bit slack. The propeller's a little bit dodgy as well, so I just use that and use the stamp tool just to clean up those edges there. Anything that's looking a bit dodgy, there's a little spot in there that needs to come out. And yeah, so it's kind of more of a manual, way of doing things. It's not anything real tricky, but it's just a little bit of time to get that masking right. You can see there's a bit of a, it's not a halo, it's just a bit light. That was just the light that we had, and we're trying to balance it with this really dark light now. So that's all that was there. Let's go back out. And yeah, it's just, I haven't done much on that. It's more about, this is more of a just a quick video edit to show you how quick and easy it is to actually make something that looks like that, look like that. And I think it's almost believable. Thanks for tuning in.